Hello everybody, welcome to Train Sim World 2 Sand Patch Grade HUD Off Challenge. So apparently this is like the new thing. So we are going to do a intermodal service from the Cumberland Yard up to Rockwood Main No.1. We are going to do it with the HUD off, which means we will not know. We have to pay attention to the signals and everything else. So we're gonna get here. We're of course using the venerable AC4400. We will get in here, get everything all set up, and we will be on our way. I don't know. We'll have a look here in a moment. If we have any help at the back end of the train. Just want to make sure we get everything done on the brakes before we do anything. Everything's cut in perfect. Get that to forward, get that to off. And then once we get, when we're ready to move, we'll turn the HUD off. Let's go back here. Turn the number lights on. Should be distributed power. Yeah, we'll turn that on. We don't need the heater on. Get the window open. Alright, let's see if we have a... We do not have banking locomotives at the back. Okay, so we are going to turn... Oop, that's not it. Oop. There we go. Okay, so I believe, do we have a shown? Okay, just where? Okay, the top one is green. Okay. All right. So we should be all set. We are starting to roll backwards for whatever reason. We're not on a. We were on flat. I don't know why we're rolling backwards. Come on, train, stop rolling. Well, that's rather odd. Why are we rolling backwards? Hold on a second. Oh, we are on a... Okay. We got a 4400 and a SD40 for this intermodal. Come on. Oh, it's still wanting to roll backwards. Alright, let's restart that one. Hold on a second. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Well, that was kind of odd. Oh, we get moving fairly quickly. All right, let's just make sure we got. Oh, I know why. I forgot something. I forgot to put on the generator. There we go. Now we should be all set. Alright, let's get everything all set up. F6. Exit. We'll check it. Everything should be good. Yep. I always like to make sure that we have our distributed power, so we don't have anything at the back helping us. So, all right. Now we should be good to go. Hey, Daniel. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, so Joe Burgess, who worked on the timetable for Hamburg to Lübeck, we were talking in the stream. Oh, did we get a Dash 8 this time? No, we still got an SD40. Okay. There was talk about doing Sandpatch Grade on without the HUD on, and I'm like, challenge accepted. You know me. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm gonna try it." So he's like, "Well, you might be the only one." Well, yep, here we are. The good thing is, I mean, if we keep an eye on the signals and everything, we'll be okay. Now I know there's a 15 coming up once we get to right in here somewhere. So we're just gonna keep moving. We don't want to lose our momentum if we can help it. No. Dimmer. Oh, that's not... Oops. Okay. I just noticed that dimmer thing, and let's say I'd never used that before. So, yeah, we don't have any banking locomotives at the back. It is just 4400 and an SD40. So, this should be interesting. Drive a train from the wrong end. No, I don't think we could do that. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's a way to do that in any that I know of. I mean, it's always going to be at the right end, unless unless they tell you to do like a runaround. And well, I didn't turn on the lights, did I? Didn't even turn on the gauge lights, to be honest. I missed some stuff down here. Okay, now we're all set. Just driving the other cab and run in reverse. I don't know if, honestly, I don't know if you could do that. Like, I think it would totally mess up the game, to be honest. I think you would, yeah, I think it probably would break the game somehow. Alright, let's get at least a couple cab lights on. Oops. Just because I know once we get into the tunnels. Alright, now, okay, now we should be fine. You've done it? Okay. Well, I mean, I don't... normally, I mean, it's an interesting concept, but given how finicky this game can be sometimes, I kind of feel like that's probably a bad idea, because you just never know when something might just throw the game into serious fits. Oh, and the great thing is, this time when we restarted it, we got the matching blue and gray CSX livery on the SD40. So our locomotives match. Look at that. That's nice. Turn up all the speeds and lights you won't see them coming. Yeah. All right. I think we're... Now I think sometimes we get a red. Okay, there's a red up there, so we got to keep an eye out on that. We might get held up. I don't see any other signals until there. Oh, so speaking of some railroad news, I looked up, just kind of checking to see what's going on with the electrification of the Peninsula Corridor, and everything's on hold till 2024. There's some serious problems with the trackage, or like underneath the current tracks that the Caltrain runs on, and they're asking for way more money. The price has gone up. Like it's an insane amount of money. So everything's and I guess the company who was making the system, for the new electrified line, they're behind in production because of the COVID. So yeah, everything's kind of on hold for the time being. So if I am able to go home at some point soon, I will be able to actually ride on, the Pond Gallery cab cars and the bi-level cab cars still. So yeah, but I'm a little bit disappointed that there's a bit of an issue with the money. But yeah. All right, so yeah, usually past here we might. Let's see if we get the red, or did it go to yellow? So it's showing red up there. So, oh, you don't plan on getting... Oh, come on, Ryan, don't say that. That's not a good thing to say. So yeah, I mean, I'm a bit disappointed because I was hoping that they were going to be done, because they were like, well, they're at the halfway point. But when I checked to see what the status was, thinking that they were going to be done soon, and I guess there's just been too many things discovered that are going to require more time and effort. So as far as I know, the line will still run as it currently is. Okay, so that's showing green up at the top, so we should be good. That one's green, okay. That one's still showing red for whatever reason. So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't but I'm happy because I would like to ride those where I live, and it's finally open. Oh wow, 15 years. Well, I'll tell you this, when I moved here to this area back in 2015, they were working on a new overpass interchange, and it took them about 5 years to complete it. Like it was a long project, and it caused a lot of headaches. Yeah, it was a mess. All right, so we do have a red here coming up. I don't see it. Well, we're not close enough to see the signal yet. Get Crosswell partly open, still waiting another year to get that open fully. Huh. Okay, so that red should be showing for the other direction, I think. Yeah, we're not seeing a red here. It's for the trains coming through here, which would see the reds. Yeah, okay. There we go. Hey, Daniel cheers for coming in for a few minutes before you take off for work. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you have a good shift. Hopefully it'll be busy, but not too busy. Just enough to make the time go by quick. So yeah, we had a few people in here, and then now everybody's disappeared again. That's okay. Now, that's one thing that I have to admit, and this will kind of force me to pay attention a little bit more, but I've not really ever looked at the signaling on here, to be honest. So this will kind of force me to pay attention. So I'm only going to worry about, see, we have another one, but that red is facing from the opposite way. Yeah. So as long as they're facing the opposite way, we're okay. Now we'll go outside here and surf for a minute. Yes, Ryan. What's up? Oh, also, and I was talking about this the other day when I did the run on Peninsula Corridor. I did a little bit of rearranging in my apartment, so my laptop, where I keep an eye on my stream, is not at my left anymore. It's on the right side, so I have to start kind of getting in the habit of looking to the right to check the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss stuff. So I will try to keep an eye on things. Matter of fact, I can probably just move this just a little bit so it's kind of in my line of sight, but nothing that's going to distract me too much. So don't. Oh, I won't. I'm going to. I mean, it's a fun challenge in a way, because you get used to having all this information on the screen, but you don't. It's not very realistic, to be honest. So, well, yeah, it just forces you to pay attention like you would in a regular train driver, you know. It's just the only thing that I don't like is you don't have that little reticle in the middle that you can use to, like, if you want to turn on something or turn off something. So that's the only thing I wish that they would, at least some kind of way to like, if you want to change something, that at least that's there. And so the other good thing too is we won't have to worry about stopping by Mance, because, which we would normally stop here to let off the banking locomotives somewhere around this neck of the woods. So without needing to worry about that, that does take a lot of time off of our trip. So that's good. We don't have to worry about that. I kind of feel like we could go a little bit faster, but I know once we get up into here somewhere, we can get up to 50 miles an hour. But we'll keep an eye out for those speed boards along the side there. About the simplest. No. I mean, it's just, it would be nice to have that, because, you know, if you want to change something, you can't. You know, it's like you're moving the thing around until it goes, saying, "Oh yeah, you can." So yeah, but other than that, it's not that bad, really. It does force you to pay attention, though. I think So, and you know what? It's nice to not, to have all that stuff on there. You kind of just look around and it's, like a real... Now, the only other thing, I thought I opened the window, but I guess oh, maybe I did on the other one. There we go. Okay. That way we have some air here. Hopefully everybody's having a good Sunday afternoon, evening, whatever the case may be. Just a quick reminder, I will be streaming on Tuesday, 11 Eastern Standard Time, which is 4 p.m. British Summer Time. I will be doing a fun, no awards or reward or anything like that, no prize or whatever. We're just British Ace and I are going to do a points challenge on Peninsula Corridor. I want to change the aircon because the buses are really hot, so to hot, just yeah, I mean, that's a messed up situation to be in there, Ryan, quite honestly. That sucks. Well, speaking of which, you know what? I never turned on the fan. Yeah, we'll turn on the fan too. What the heck? All right, so that should be it. I shouldn't muck about. I should just keep the HUD off and just do. I wonder if. I think, quite honestly, I just noticed this little. I wonder if that's like a forward-facing camera, so that the dispatch office can see what's going on at all times or whatever in front of the train. That's interesting. I just noticed that. Oops. I don't know what happened there. That run hot and cold. Yeah, I know when I was in the Army, we had vehicles that, like our ambulances had AC in the patient compartment, right? And those were the ones that, you always knew. You were like, we never take the other ones with us if we're doing range coverage or whatever, for instance. We just have we just we take the ones that have the best AC, because especially during the times where it get really hot and humid, you want to be able to put somebody in the AC. But they were a system that was really difficult to maintain. So yeah, but you always took the ones that had the best AC. But sometimes even with the AC on, it didn't feel like it did much. Even the ones that worked really well, it was just like, ugh. We're doing okay. Once I figured out, I totally forgot to turn on the field generator. We were finally able to get moving. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to try to find a way. I'm plotting and scheming on how I can go home for just even a little while. Even for a few days. So yeah, I'd really like to get home. I'd really like to be able to make a video on the route, including, I'd really like to, I've never gone 404 should be back on the road soon after new paint job. Nice. I've never gone past the San Jose. Well, no, there is a station in San Jose past the one in the game. I've been to that station, but I've never taken the train all the way to Gilroy. So I'd like to show everybody what everything looks like past the San Jose station in the game. You know, just so that everybody kind of gets a sense of what it all looks like. So yeah, I mean that would take probably a good part of the day going down and back. You know, not the whole day, but it would be. You know, I definitely want to get off at, you know, some of the more well-known stations like, you know, Mountain View, Palo Alto, Redwood City, Millbrae, the station there in San Jose, the one that's in the game. Alright, so yeah, we should be able to start speeding up here shortly. I've never been to America before on the train. The only place I've been is Florida, and that was going around in the car. I mean, Amtrak is good. If you're going long distance, it does help to get a sleeper car. Because I've taken the train where it's, you know, you have the regular coach seat, and if it's like a really long trip, I never felt comfortable sleeping there. So like when I took the train from St. Louis to Los Angeles, I had a coach seat, but I never stayed very long in that seat. I was in the observation car the entire time. For the most part, I slept in the observation car, like, because they have like the bench seating. So I would just lay out there and sleep for, you know, 4 hours or whatever, and I'd wake up and, you know, chill, and, you know, and they never bugged me about it. But yeah, I would. But the sleeper cars are really, you'd have to book them well in advance to try to get a good price. But otherwise, yeah, the coach seats is just, I would never feel safe sleeping there, because you just don't, you know, you're not very secure. I never felt. So, yeah. But the train in the Bay Area, the Peninsula Corridor, that's just commuter stuff. I mean, it's, I don't know what the ridership would be like, if they've kind of gotten more people riding now or not. I would think they would. But, yeah. So, but usually you can, if you don't go during the peak commuter times, you can find it shouldn't be too bad of a ride. But yeah, so I'd like to do that. I wish I could fall asleep on the bus. I don't even do that. Like when I used to take the bus from Savannah to Birmingham to visit my dad, I wouldn't sleep on the bus. Yeah, you can't because you're driving. Yeah, I never felt comfortable sleeping on the bus either. So, yeah, because you don't know what kind of people you're dealing with, and the really bad station there in Atlanta, it's right near the jail. You got people coming out that are, basically been released or whatever, and I never felt that station made me feel so uncomfortable. Like I would just drag all my luggage with me if I went to the bathroom. I never left my stuff unattended or anything. So, yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of the train stations nowadays, even on Amtrak, they're not in very good areas. Which is sad because, rail passenger service used to be a very high-class thing, and now you just have, it's not good. Probably speeding a little bit, but I might not be speeding, actually. We might be okay. But yeah, I would never sleep on the bus. I never felt comfortable with that. Yeah, we're cooking along here pretty good. So we'll go up our first. We can't really see it. So we'll go through our first via point here, hang the hard left, and start zigzagging through the hills. We'll go via Mance, and then we'll go via one more spot, and we're going to end up right there. So yeah, we'll be doing fine here. I like a lovely empty bus to. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't always work out that way, does it, Ryan? It's yeah. Love a good episode of. I haven't watched that in quite some time, to be honest. I used to watch it, but I haven't watched it in quite a while. All right, here we are coming onto the main straight here, kind of a little bit of a straight. I should know the. Our via point on here. I've ran this route enough. I should know that by heart by now, but so yeah, we shouldn't have any lights. We shouldn't have any reds along the way. It's not like this is Clinchfield where you have single tracks for quite some distance. So we should be okay. You haven't watched Family Guy. It's been a while. Okay, so we're doing okay on this route right now. We're hooking along almost 60 miles an hour. It's weird because when you zoom in like that, it slows everything down, and as soon as you zoom back out, then you get that greater sense of speed. So well, the SD40 is doing pretty darn good. A bit surprised. I was hoping we'd have a -8. Still annoyed they don't put the full extended version of bed knobs and broomsticks. Oh. I don't know. I don't think I know what that is. Never heard of it. I don't watch Disney Plus, to be honest. Ever since, well, it's kind of exploded, I think, even just before the lockdown, that a lot of companies like Disney, everybody's got their own streaming service now. They, so if you want to follow a show, you have to subscribe to here, and it's just it's too much of a headache, to be honest. So yeah, I don't keep up with all that. I have Netflix and I have Amazon Prime, and that's it for me. I don't need anything else. I mean, some of the stuff like the show Community with Chevy Chase was on there for about 4 or 5 seasons. I think it was 4. It was season 5. I think he was gone. But that's on Amazon Prime and Netflix. So I like having both for their own produced shows. Netflix does do really good as far as documentaries go, I think. There's a lot of them that I like that are just really thought-provoking but yeah, otherwise it's you're paying out the wazoo for all these different services. And I mean, I kind of like with Amazon, I can have, not only do I have Amazon Prime, but then I also have like BritBox, which has British mystery shows, like Inspector Morse, stuff like that. And then I also have I have something else. I can't remember what the other one that I subscribe to through them as well. So yeah, if it's all under one roof and you could just pick the stuff that you like, I think that's better than just, subscribing to something, like cable. You get a bunch of channels that you'll never really use. So, anyway. Yeah, there is. It's just, like when, now that Disney owns everything Marvel, they stopped the production of Daredevil on Netflix. They stopped the production of The Punisher on Netflix. And they were both very popular shows on Netflix. And since Disney bought Marvel, they were like, oh, no, we want the rights to everything now. So it's all about rights, all about that, and that's it. I'm slowing down to 55 because I think we passed it. And we're just going a little bit over 55, so I don't think we're too bad. Oh, so at the very top there, at the if you look where it says distance 0. There's the 260, which is also our loco number out here. I can't see what it says. It says something number. I think it says road number. But I can't really read it. It's not very clear. Maybe they will. I don't know. I mean, Netflix is pretty solid on their own. Okay, here comes our marker. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to go into idle because I know we're supposed to drop down to 30 here. And I know, if I remember correctly, we are going uphill. So we passed our first via marker. They were already going after Sony. I mean, but I think too that if you have one company control something, it's not good. That's not going to go over very well. Because sooner or later you're going to stop making stuff that everybody enjoys or whatever, and then pretty soon people are, you're going to start losing money. I think Netflix, when they've canceled certain shows or whatever, they take a hit. Like a lot of people, I think, start looking at, well, I'll just cancel my service. You canceled a show that was very successful. What's wrong with you? So yeah, people start to vote with their wallets, basically, in a way. So yeah, if you're a streaming company and you take something off that the fans care about, yeah, you're gonna start to lose money. I mean, now that you have Amazon's bought MGM now. So that's all the MGM library, including their most popular character, James Bond. So a lot of people are worried about that the James Bond that people remember are going to be, it's going to be changed in ways that people are not going to like. Which is what it seems to me. If they're going after Sony, but they will keep the same name, just Disney will own them, like the same with Marvel. And yeah, I can't see that being approved. That's just too. That's too much. You have too much media power then. I mean, Disney already owns. They own ABC. They own ESPN. It's just, yeah. If you own too much, it's. No, that's asking for. I think that's just inviting too many problems. I hope they don't get it approved. To be honest, I think that's just, you're building a monopoly at that point, and pretty soon it's going to be like Disney, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and it's just going to be the three of them, and the outliers like the Paramount and CBS, like CBS All Access has had to put their stuff on Amazon Prime in the hopes of getting more viewers and more subscribers. So they're going to be forced to do that, and that's not good. And I think you're going to see a market soon too, where people are just going to start buying DVDs before their shows are changed into things that they don't want to see. So yeah, I think it's just. Disney already has too much control over the media as it is. When they bought Marvel, I thought this. They were able to put a lot of their money behind stuff, but they're broke now. Like the parks are barely running. It's just, I think they've kind of tarnished of what Walt Disney was trying to build. And it's not like the employees see any benefit of that money return of like the movies and everything. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot. People are going, okay, because Netflix or even like Disney or Amazon, they all want to take a cut of whatever you want to show, right? They want a slice of the pie. That's why you had a show like The Office, which was popular on Netflix for quite some time until NBC said, well, we're taking it off of Netflix because people are going to want to watch it and they're going to have to pay us to watch reruns. Same thing with, I think, Parks and Rec. The only one that they've not taken off, which it's a cult hit, but wasn't like a huge. It was never like a number one thing. Is Community. So they'll leave Community on Netflix and Amazon Prime, but the shows like Parks and Rec and The Office, which were huge hits, or even Friends, those will all be under NBC's streaming service. But you can order the DVD sets off of Amazon, and you can watch them whenever you want, and you just pay a one-time fee for the DVDs. So, yeah, I think that's with Netflix as well. I think Universal. They probably are, because, yeah, a lot of studios now, because everything costs so much, you have studios working together to make a film. Even though, for the most part, if it's a big name, like Clint Eastwood, I think, has been a Warner Brothers actor for, I think, just about his entire career. All of his movies make money. I think there's only been a few that have barely broke even, but on average, his movies make money. He's probably made Warner Brothers alone billions of dollars. Yeah, and see, that's the thing, is you have a lot of TV places, something is popular and they're like, oh, we don't want it to be so popular that our news show isn't being watched, so they take it off. And you know, I was always told that stuff like that happens when it's a license. You know, like the license is only for so long, and then you lose a license. So whether it's movies or TV shows, you know, and sometimes, you know, a few weeks later the license will be renewed suddenly, and you're like, oh, it's back on again. So anyway. I don't know how we got on all this movie stuff. I'm driving a train in Pennsylvania. I think we're finally into Pennsylvania. We left Maryland, and we're talking about streaming services. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like when I took the media research class, we did talk about. We had one of our papers that we did was about. You know, is Disney becoming a monopoly? And for all intents and purposes, no, not yet. I think Disney is getting greedy now. They have control of the two biggest things, which is Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if they're going after more stuff, the case could be made that it is becoming a monopoly. It is. I mean, Joe's. Oh, I didn't know Joe was going live. Well, I mean, if people disappear, that's fine. I'll still be here. Or if people want to watch both, that's fine. I thought I totally forgot what time he was going to go live. I just wanted to, you know, since Joe and Burgess had mentioned this in Richard's stream, I just figured I'd just get this done now before I forgot. And, you know, in another hour or so, Richard will be live, and you know, so a bit. But I guess if Joe's going live, that might push Richard's next stream out a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this here and. Anyway, it's just. Oh well, it's not like I have a ton of viewers. That's fine. I don't think I'm gonna get as many viewers as he's been getting on Cathcart like he did the other day with that 8-hour stream. So that's okay. I'm staying here. I don't have anything else to do. I appreciate that, Ryan. I'm sure Amela or somebody else is lurking in the background. They're probably going to be watching both. So it's probably, I'm going to guess it's Amela. Or maybe it's Richard. I don't know. Somebody's not talking. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. I thought it was going to be far worse, to be honest. But it's not been anything terrible. You know? Well, thanks, Ryan. Thanks, appreciate that. Well, I mean, I don't ever expect a ton of people to come in. I just, you know, I go live and people, you either get the notification or whatever. If you choose to, you know, pop in, that's fine. If not, that's okay too. So, I mean, I think the idea of going HUDless, right? It's a bit daunting because you're like, oh crap, I don't really know the signals, and it's not really that bad, to be honest. It's okay. I mean, we're stuck here. We're right below the speed limit, which is 30. We're at 27, so we're fine. We're not speeding. So yeah, it's all good. And I'll post this. It'll premiere tomorrow on my YouTube. Uh, she's just thinking of a good way to try and kill. Nah, she's probably watching. She's probably got me on in the background and Joe on the. She's watching Joe because I'm imagining he's on Cathcart again, and but he'll probably only go for an hour. So, which I do nothing against Richard's long streams, but I think an hour is enough. It keeps everybody's attention. It's it's not too much stuff to have to worry about, or keeping people entertained, because after a while it's you have to kind of keep everybody's keep them entertained, and you start to run out of stuff, I think, after a while. So I mean, I only do Sandpatch every once in a while because it's such a long route to do, not in length but in time. But I know we're only going 27 miles an hour, and a lot of people are, oh, that's just too slow, oh, it's boring. It is what it is. I would be able to open up that window. It's like not having that reticle. I can't find the trigger point to open up that window. But yeah, I don't expect to be famous or anything. Like I like to do this. I like to try to make it entertaining. I don't always like to be in the cab. I think everybody knows that by now. But now that we're going HUDless, I have to kind of pay attention to the speedometer in here. Alright, we're still zigzagging to Mance. I know that one. I know that's our next via point is Mance. I forget what the other one was. Matter of fact, we could find out. We went through Hindman, that's right. And then we're going through Salisbury. I should know that because Josh always talks about Salisbury steak. And Rockwood. We talk about Rockwood fries and Salisbury steak. So, yeah, that's right. I should know Salisbury. And a short little tunnel here. Of course, we won't be able to pop back out until we're well down the line a little bit more. Look how long that train goes way back there. Look at that. But yeah, Cane Creek's coming out. I'm guessing probably before the end of the month. Yeah. And then hopefully we'll start picking up more information about the rush hour, because everybody and their brother likes to ask about when is rush hour coming out, as if anybody else knows any dates, which I find very annoying, to be honest. Nobody knows anything more. Yeah, I figured he'd still be on Cathcart. I mean, it's the shiny new toy. I give it another week or so. Probably by the end of this week, he'll be back to doing other stuff. Like this is that it's the new thing. It's tiding him over until Brighton Mainline, I guess. With rush hour. I mean, I'm happy that people love the route. Don't get me wrong. It's just that we tend to forget, and I saw it a lot with Southeastern High Speed. We tend to forget about everything else, and then when we finally go back to other routes, we forget what we need to do, So yeah, but hey, I mean, he's enjoying it. Everybody else is enjoying it. I don't, but yeah, it gets caught a bit of craze for a little while, and then everybody's like, okay. And of course with Cane Creek, I don't think there's that same hype. There was hype for Clinchfield but people are like, oh, it's a long, slow American freight route. Ugh. Even though the F7 looks amazing, you know, it's the first time we've been able to actually play a locomotive like that in the game, which is an icon of American railroading. But you know, it didn't have the same sort of hype like Southeastern did. And I think it's just some players are finicky like that. Like I knew I was going to get Clinchfield because it's American freight route and I like the F7. But it is a long route. Part of it is because you have that single track, and you're going to have to stop and wait for, you know, another locomotive to pass you with all its freight behind it. So yeah, I mean, I know everybody's wanting Brighton Main Line. I think everybody will be kind of happy to have a Northeast Corridor line in the game again. I don't know what's the distance between Boston and Providence. Yeah, I would too, but it's, God, that would be a challenge to even try to create the game, I think. Because how do you scan everything? Like, you know, you would have to either do it at a time when, like, there's hardly any services running, you know, just to get the stations modeled correctly, unless you're just going to use all photos. But there's a lot of small detail. Like, I never noticed, it always took me a while to notice this, but like when I would come in, when you come into parts of the Bay Area in the Bay Area rapid transit train, right? You come in from underneath the bay, and you're still underground, but there's areas between the stations, and even, like, you know, kind of like where, like the Bakerloo line, there's like that one area that the trains can switch and go to another side of the station or whatever, right? It's little areas like that, those details that are, I think, are most compelling to have in the game. But how do you capture all that information on a busy thing like the New York subway? Also, what part of it are you going to have? Like, I don't think they could have like the whole subway. It would just be a stretch of it, you know. So what do you include and what do you not have in there? So I think that's part of the reason. I think they would probably like to do it, but what do you have? What do you show and what don't you show? Or what parts of it are there and what are you going to leave out? And something like the New York subway, people are going to, the hard part about that is if Dovetail Games did it, well, then people, they're missing this and they did it. I don't know why, you know, they'll never be satisfied with it. No matter what, you know, I mean, look at Cathcart Circle even, or, you know, people fuss because this one particular thing's missing, and how could they leave this out, you know, it's just, it's unfortunate. And I can see why, you know, we were talking about Matt leaving the, one of the Discords, because people were getting so toxic. They weren't showing any appreciation, but they were just so hateful, for lack of a better term. Like, you put all this time and effort to create something, and people, instead of just saying, thanks for the route, you know, I have a few criticisms, but they're nothing really major. It's so terrible. You know, like, I could see where people, because these companies over the years have they want to communicate to their community, right? And so the community feels that, well, part of that communication means I can treat you like crap. You know, I should be able to tell you should die, or, you know, just off the wall crazy stuff like that. And, you know, or we shouldn't have to pay for these things. Well, but they have families to take care of. They have bills to pay. You can't expect them to just hand out stuff for free. You know, some companies will give some stuff out for free because they feel they have wronged the community so bad that they generally feel bad about what they've done. Yeah, I would imagine so, Ryan. I think you're right. It wouldn't surprise me. Remember that sign, so it goes 50, and then by the time we don't even get past it, it drops right back down to 30 or something like that. I remember that. That one always threw me for a loop because you don't even get to get up to 50 miles an hour. So yeah, I mean, I've been critical of game developers, but I feel that compared to what I've seen from other game companies, and that includes people who are community managers in a way, like Natalie's a community manager, right? She wants to interact with the gaming community and bring back some things to the team that she's seeing people talk about as far as the game goes, right? But I've seen community managers who take advantage of their position within the company, and they sit on high, and oh, everything's working as intended, when it's not, right? Deep down it's not working as intended, and you're going to sit there and try to tell people that they're mistaken. No, I'm not speeding up. I'm staying right here at 30. That's right about where it's supposed to be. I'm good with that. Nope. You must have me confused with Mr. Addies. But yeah, I mean, I'll use a prime example, the community manager Deej from Bungie, and he'd sit there, they'd do a stream, and after a while it was like, yeah, you're not even really communicating to the community. You're just sitting here. It's like a big joke for you. You're not even taking anything the criticism seriously. And so, but I think, like Dovetail Games, I do generally think they want to make the game better. They do accept reasonable criticisms and suggestions, but of course they're not going to accept being treated like garbage. And I wouldn't expect them to either. But I think overall, we've got over 20 routes in the game, and you don't. I've said it before. You don't have to buy them all if you don't want to. If you don't like, Sandpatch Grade came with the game, right? That was just part of it. So, but if you don't want to play it, then don't play it. But you shouldn't tell everybody else to not play it, or it's the worst route. Like, I know people like to say that kind of stuff to kind of wind people up, but after a while it's like, dude, you gotta come up with something better. That is getting old. So no, we're not speeding on Sandpatch. We're staying right within our limits. It's okay. Matter of fact, we lost a little bit of speed, so I'll throw the throttle back on, but we're good. I mean, we're going up the hill, so right around, I think, somewhere around in here, as we go into, we'll start going downhill pretty soon. We'll have to watch our speed. But yeah, I think what they do is terrific. Yeah, I know it's not perfect. If things aren't working well, I don't go back on the route. I wait for a patch to come out, and then hopefully that fixes the problem. The only thing about games as a live service is that they can easily fix one thing and then something else oh, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, with people saying they don't like a certain route, and Sandpatch Grade is the one that most people take pot shots at. I don't think there's anything wrong with the route. I just think that some people, don't like the idea of driving all this way going 25, 30, 35 miles an hour, right? And then you only, like if you're coming, there's that part between Cumberland and Mance, you can get up to about 60 or so, and then then you're slowing down the rest of the way. That's as fast as you're going to go. So, somebody else was taking a pot shot at Sandpatch Grade the other day in the Discord, and I'm just like, I was going to say something, but I'm like, no, it's just somebody trying to have a go, and, I finally, I got somebody wound up, so I just ignored it, and but it's that this hatred of Sandpatch Grade is getting really old at this point. If you don't like the route, fine. But you shouldn't trash anybody who does enjoy it, who does play it from time to time, whatever. So that's what's getting old. If you don't like the route, you don't like the route, fine. But you don't need, you're talking to people who do. And if all you're doing is having a wind up, then you know what, I don't have time for you. I don't want to talk to people like that anymore. It's so I don't know, I like it, but I know it's not for everybody, mainly because of the lack of speed on the route. But that's okay. Not everything has to be about going fast. And I think that we have a lot of people, a generation of people who think, I do too. I like the CSX logo. I like this version of the CSX logo. I've always said that, whenever I run the route, whatever locomotive I'm using, I always choose the blue and gray livery. I just like it, just to me it kind of stands out more than the darker blue with the yellow. And the CSX is I think it's in yellow. So, no, I like this. I like the route. I'm really looking forward to Cane Creek. I know some people are going to be excited about it at first because it's a freight route, and then they're going to be like, oh, it's slow, and what is Dovetail Games thinking by putting this on there? Oh my goodness, woe is me. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to. You're still going to get the updates. Everything's still going to be patched. Whatever they're working on fixing the game overall, you're still going to get that. You're not paying for it. So, I don't understand why people always have to get fussy. You're not going to have to pay for the updates. The updates are free. The routes are not free. I think I don't know why people confuse the two. Dovetail Games is a business. They're in the business of making a product, and they would like to make money with that product. I don't see a problem with that. Yeah, this is. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of not having the HUD on. I mean, it doesn't distract away from all the scenery. Like, I'm looking at the stream and, it looks good. Whereas normally we'd have all that information up on the top and the speedometer there in the bottom right. And, yeah. Pardon me if you hear somebody in their motorcycle going by. That's one thing I miss about Germany, to be honest. On Sundays, you couldn't do all that. You couldn't have your motorcycle out going up and down the street. You couldn't. have a loud car. Hope they put destination boards. I mean, they are working. They are working. Have you not watched? Have you not gone on the route in a while? Right? They have working boards. They may not be the most current ones because there's a newer version, but they do have working PIS boards. I think they just did a one of the most recent patches. They just updated them to be more in line with the period of time that the route is set in. I think. Matter of fact, I think Matter or somebody was talking about it in one of the last road maps. So they work. I mean, they may not be 100% spot on, but it's better than nothing. And they can at least on the trains. I don't know that there is one in the trains. Maybe they don't have one in the trains, to be honest. I think you just have the announcer announcing the station. But, I mean, I think, you know, what we have, I think, is pretty darn good. You know, if that's like the least of our worries is a PIS board on the train, I think that's okay. I don't never think about it other than I know I kind of fret about it on the German routes because you expect that to be correct on the German trains, but as far as on Long Island Railroad, I don't think it has one, to be honest. I think you just have the announcer, either the conductor or the engineer, somebody announces the station. I don't think they have a PIS in the train. I think what you do have somewhere, kind of like what you had on Isle of Wight, you have a map, and so that's how it was on the BART train for many years. But you also had the train operator announcing the station. You know, coming into Oakland Lake Merritt, you know, or whatever. Next stop is, you know, whichever way they were traveling. So I think that's your. I think in real life, although I would have to imagine Amela would know for sure. I don't think I can't imagine or ever seeing something that would be a PIS inside the M7 or the M3. I think it's always been either the conductor or the operator announces the train stops or the station stops along the way. But I could be wrong. You'd have to ask Amela. I've never been on Long Island Railroad, so I can't say for sure, but I'm almost certain that's how it's been. Okay, here we are coming through Mance. Our next via point will be Salisbury. Yeah, so we're doing pretty darn good. We're going for... Well, we had a little hiccup at the beginning, so we restarted, but still not too terribly bad. I'm glad I figured that out before I give it another go. Like, oh, wait a minute, I knew I forgot another switch. It's on the side of the trains, just a shame that they're not working, but it's still good. They might be, I just don't remember. Like I said, they could be, but I always thought a route like that, you had the announcer, you know, somebody would announce it while you're on the train. Because if you have the PIS board at the station, why would you also need it on the train? That doesn't make any sense. It's like you could have one or the other. Why have both? But, you know, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a great route. I haven't been on it in a little while since I took the 465 and the 166, I think, onto Long Island Railroad to do a off the rail service. But yeah, I think, I mean, I don't really, I mean, a detail like that, it's kind of like when Evan was talking about the driver's side window or the passenger side window in the driver's cab on the 314 doesn't open when in real life it does. Is it a game-breaking thing? No. But it triggers some people because they have to have those exact details. Now, they may have felt like, okay, that's not really something that we were concerned about, but if, you know, I guess if we get enough suggestions, maybe we can look into doing that. The same thing with the PIS boards on the train, I think, with Long Island Railroad. I don't think it's a deal breaker of any kind. You know, it's just, it is what it is. All right. Oh, let me keep up speed a little bit. I think when we go through, should be a tunnel coming up somewhere, right there. I think after we come out the tunnel, that's when we start to go downhill. Yeah, I mean, it may be something they're also working on. I think everybody was fussing about the station stuff more. And I think if they feel like they got that, that should be sufficient for the, am I going to be running a red light, or is that, we never had a light here. I hope I'm not about to spad. Okay. Whew. Oh. Yeah, it is. I don't know, like, at some point, I feel like we have to be fine with what we're getting in the game. When we're starting to pick apart the little things that really, I mean, they're important, but are they really important? Does it keep you from enjoying the routes? I mean, stuff like, I don't know. It's a fine line, and I think that's something that people don't take into consideration. You know, you're making demands. Or is it reasonable to make the demands? You know, that's. But I mean, I don't know. You could put it in the suggestion thing because it's not something that's broken. I mean, Joe made it very clear that it's not something that would go into the like a trouble ticket, because they, you know. But you could make the suggestion, or you could ask and say, are these going to be working at any point, or is this a lost cause and we just have to accept it for what it is? Yeah, well, it's no different than the people who come into a stream and say, what game is this? What are you doing? Well, it says right there in the description. If you bother reading it, it tells you what's happening. You know. So, yeah. But I don't know. I guess that would have to be something, if you feel that compelled to say something about it. I guess it would go into the suggestion area, and they would. I guess I'm still traveling uphill. I thought we were already on the downhill mark. I might have. Yeah, I know, and I agree with you, Ryan. I don't. I'm just trying, like, if somebody brought it up, like in the roadmap, the one coming up on Tuesday, right? I'm trying to think of Sam's sort of demeanor you know. And I know he's just, I think he said he's just got a permanent scowl on his face now. That's just the way it is. He just looks that way naturally at this point. I mean, I think it would be good to go into a suggestion thing. Because either they're working on it, or that's something that's on their to-do list, or it's just something that they're just not going to fuss about at this point in the game. And if they're not going to fuss about it, then it is what it is. They have a lot of other things that they're trying to deal with. Yeah, I just don't know how big of a priority it is. And maybe it is. I don't know. I think the forums would be the best place to look. Yeah, I am too. The only thing is even with more routes, people are still, they're just not going to be satisfied with anything. And that's the unfortunate part, you know. Like I am glad still to this day that I got involved with the game. I don't feel like it's, if I want to play a route or whatever, it is what it is. I don't feel like I'm obligated to do one thing over another, you know. So yeah, I just like the variety. I like to be able to do, I like being able to do a service here on Sand Patch, and then after this is over, if I'm like, well, you know what, I feel like going over to LGV Mediterranean, then I go over to LGV Mediterranean, you know. We're just gonna coast here for a little while. Still haven't come all the way out of the good. Okay, the last one just cleared the tunnel. Should have. Nope. Almost all cleared out of the tunnel. But yeah, my big thing now is in Richard's stream, for instance. I'm telling everybody, don't. If you're going to ask about Rush Hour, I'm going to keep plugging the Dovetail Games website. If you're not going to come in and just keep interrupting or being a bit snooty in the chat because you think somebody's holding back information. Nope. It's not like Joe's going to say anything. Joe Burgess, he doesn't know. And even if he did, Megan is the butt of all jokes. Oh, I guess. I don't know. What was I going to say? So yeah, it's not like anybody who has information is going to share it in the stream. So people just need to get over it, and they need to stop asking. Plain and simple, I think. Oops. I think that's in. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I'm messing up here. Oh well, that's okay. We slowed down. That's all that matters. All right, so we got either Dash 8 or 4400, maybe an SD40 there. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna keep plugging the Dovetail Games website. People are gonna keep asking. I'm gonna delete it, and I'm gonna tell them to go to the Dovetail Games website, and they can find out all the information there. And if there's no information, then there's no information. I've heard. I don't know. I've heard rumors that it's. I kind of feel okay. 3 routes, but they're all being released at the same time, so I don't think they're going to charge. I don't know. That's a good question. I've. I don't know. I know. I think what I've heard, but don't quote me on it, is it's supposed to be one price for all 3 routes. But I don't know what that price would be. I don't know if they're going to charge more because you're getting 3 routes, or how it's going to work. To be honest, I think it's all going to be released at the same time. I don't think. I mean, unless there's. I mean, it's possible that they're going to charge, because not every. I don't know. I mean, because some people are going to feel like, well, I didn't want to buy the German route. I shouldn't have had to pay for the German route. I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's supposed to be 3, and you're getting all 3 for the price for one price, but that may have changed. I think that was like all speculation. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think everything has just been speculation at this point as to how they're going to price it. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be higher because you're getting 3 routes all in one shot. But that's going to be a very hot button topic, I think, as we get closer to rush hour. People are going to start to feel that whatever they're charging, it's too much, you know. Yeah, if they say there's 3 routes for one price, people are going to be mad because a lot of people are tired of the German route thing. So yeah, and yeah, I could understand that. I'd like to know soon. I mean, I think we're going to know probably sometime in July, as we get closer to the release, because the speculation is it's going to be released in August. So yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I just know there's. I tell you what, I don't want to stream on the day that they finally release that information. I don't want to even be in a stream, because all it's going to be is nothing but fussing. Because some people they're not going to handle the news very well. Whatever Dovetail says, they're going to be like, oh, because I think part of it's, for some people, it's hinging on the fact that German route is being included in rush hour, which everybody feels like they're tired of the German routes. So you have the German route, you have Northeast Corridor, and you have Brighton Main Line. That's what 3 you're getting. And I think, I mean, that's quite a bit. I just don't see what we don't know yet. I think they talked about it. I think they talked about it for the information about the German route. Is how much mileage are you getting? What's amount of what are you getting out of it? So that's going to be a determining factor. If it's if they're all fairly short and they charge like 50 pounds, I think people are going to they're going to be mad. I mean, I like the German routes. It's just, I think, and I've said this before in other streams, I think the pandemic changed a lot of their plans. And so they're going with what they have had access to in the midst of the pandemic, that they can put content out. If the pandemic hadn't happened, I think what we have now would maybe be a little bit different, because they would have been able to get out and scan more routes and start building, talking about building more stuff. I think the pandemic may have changed their plans. Now, I'm guessing on that. I don't know for sure. It just kind of feels like the pandemic threw their plans for Train Sim World 20 or Train Sim World 2 right out the window. So I think they're still committed to putting out content. It's just that the people feel like they're not getting what they want. They're finally getting Brighton Main Line, which everybody should be happy about. And if I were in Sam's shoes, I'd say, well, you got Brighton Main Line. Can you give us a break now? You guys have been asking for it. We give it to you, and you're still not happy. So, yeah, I think that's true. I think we will get something along those lines, Ryan. I think you're right. But if it's going to be short, Isle of Wight is very small, right? There's not a lot of mileage to it. I mean, it doesn't take you very long to get from one end to the other. So, does that meant that the route was going to be a little bit cheaper? Possibly, but at the same time, the people involved in all that stuff do have to make some money. They do have to take care of their families and themselves. I don't know. Now that you brought it up, I think it's going to be a very, very hot button topic. I think it's going to get even more toxic leading up to rush hour, especially as more information comes out. It's going to, oh goodness, it's going to be bad in the stream chats. I have no doubt in my mind. And I think that's where we're going to start to see people taking pot shots at Natalie and Joe in the Discord, as if they have any control over the. Yeah, it is. It's a little less compared to other routes. Exactly. So how do you can't. I think if you talk about, well, we're going to charge you $30 for the route, and it's like, well, but there's not much to it. And so that's a reasonable criticism, but at the same time, a lot of people put a lot of work into it. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I hadn't even really thought about that because, turn that light off. Turn this light off. I think we're done with the tunnels for the most part, so we're good. Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be, ooh wee. That's gonna be a really toxic thing once we know more. Yeah. Matter of fact, that's something I probably need to mention to Richard. Just something to kind of think about going into preparing for July, going into August when rush hour comes out. I mean, I think Bright Main Line and certainly the Northeast Corridor being returning to the game, although it's Boston to Providence. I think people feel pretty good about those two routes. I think it's the German one that most people are kind of like, I don't blame anything they can only do with it. Yeah, it is, and that's something I think people have kind of forgotten about, to be honest. Um, you know, they don't think about those things, and it's not fair to them, you know, uh, to treat them like garbage because well, they should have done, you know. I think they do, and I think they try to price it fairly. But of course, you know, after a while, a lot of stuff goes on sale. You know, we're already, you know, people are starting to wonder about the what do you call it? The what's it called? Um, the I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean prices are important. One, you know, I think it's they have to talk about those. Um, I kid you not. I think a squirrel's giving birth right out here on my. Something's wrong. Oop. I think a squirrel's giving birth right out here on my patio or my little deck. Well, but they have to. I think they have to think about the price of. I mean, that wasn't created by them. It was created by Rivets. So you know, Rivets might have been the one that set their price for that. Um, yeah, I think it was a little bit cheaper. Oh, I know. I think you know we should start. We'll start hearing more about the next version of the game as well. Uh, I think. I mean, because Joe, the British Ace has said numerous times that. Um, what is wrong with the school? I feel kind of bad for it, but I don't want to. Well, we have like a squirrel community here that lives around the complex, and it's always a fight between them and the pigeons, you know. But the squirrel, it's like it crawled up and it just kind of collapsed, but it's breathing still. But it's almost like I kind of feel like it was. I thought it was getting ready to go to the bathroom, to be honest. And now it just like it's laying there. Like I don't know if it's going into labor. I don't know. It just seems kind of. But either that or it's just I don't know if it's dehydrated or something. I don't really. I don't. I guess that's what it's going to be called, Ryan. I don't know. That's been the big um, thing as well. It's been hot out. I feel like that squirrels like collapse from heat exhaustion or something. I don't know. If I could find a way to bring it some water, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to. I don't want to freak it out if it's like all the places for it to happen right here. We have red and gray squirrel. This is like a gray brown squirrel. They're all over here, but they're always uh, like they have like a little hideout spot somewhere, and I should be really paying attention, but I'm not. I'm just kind of worried about this squirrel out here. I mean, I thought, like I said, I thought it was giving birth, but I guess not. Maybe I think it's just it's the it might be the heat finally got to it. I feel kind of bad for it though. I should try to find something and bring it some water or something. Like I feel bad. Like this thing is just out here like dying on my little little deck. I think that's what's happening. I think it's just like got heat exhaustion or something. Like the breathing is very labored, and I thought that's why I thought it was like going in like pregnant and getting ready to give birth, but I don't know now. All right, we've gone past Salisbury. We're on the final leg of our journey here. Yeah, give me just a second. I'm gonna pause the game and I'll be right back. I'm gonna try to get this thing some water real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So yeah, he moved or it moved. I don't want to. I'm sure it's a he or she, but it did take off as soon as I opened up the sliding. Oops, the sliding door. Uh, so I guess that's a good sign. But I did put a little container out there with some water. Hopefully it comes back and it's something to drink. I think it was just kind of just laying there, just kind of tired from the heat. Uh, so, yeah. I guess I might have got a little too heavy-handed with the. Yeah. I don't like to see animals suffering. I mean, I know a squirrel's not the most pleasant creature, but you know, I don't want to see a squirrel suffering. I mean, if it's something like water, I mean, it's not a big deal to me to give it water. There's plenty of stuff that they scurry around and pick up for food, so. But I do notice it seems like the squirrels and the pigeons are often fighting with each other over stuff. So I guess he wasn't thirsty. I guess maybe he just needed to take a break. Well, this has been quite the experience. Not had any problems whatsoever with the HUD off. I mean, I had to turn it on a few times to move switches and whatnot because I don't have a keyboard. But overall, it's been a good. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't, I think like I said before, I think everybody gets kind of flustered when they think about HUD off. But you could do this route HUD off. The signaling, the signaling isn't so terrible that you can't do it. I think we were going uphill here slightly. So yeah, I'm well, it took off, Ryan. As soon as I opened the sliding door to put the little thing that I have with water, it got up and scurried away. So I guess it wasn't that serious, but I still think, based on my own medical knowledge, it seemed like it was just a bit of heat exhaustion. It was laying in the shade, but the breathing was very labored, like it was not healthy. But it hasn't come back to even touch the water, so I don't know. I guess everything's okay. It probably. We're almost done. We are. How far? I'm not. Oh, Ryan. I thought it was pregnant. The way it collapsed, like I thought that was what was happening. Was that it was getting ready to get birth, and I'm like, oh crap. But maybe I was mistaken because I saw a squirrel the other day come by on my deck and drop a deuce, basically. Yeah, but we're almost done, Ryan. We've only got this last bit to go. Oh, if it's not the motorcyclist, it's this guy with his frickin' souped up Mustang up and down the street. Oh, so tired of it. But anyway, yeah. So I guess he's fine. I'm gonna go grab that little container. Like I set it out there for a little bit, so he didn't touch it or didn't come back. So I guess he's okay. So yeah, there we go. I just wanted. I would have felt bad if something like water could have helped it, and I'm not that heartless that I would have just not done anything. So I mean, squirrel's gonna be a pain in the rear around here, but I didn't want to, because I would have had to figure out a way to get that thing off my deck if it had died. I don't have a shovel to scoop it up and take it to the dumpster. So yeah, and I wouldn't let it sit out there because it would. Oh, oof. Anyway, Well, I guess he's okay now. He took off, so it is what it is. That's all right. If he hadn't moved, or the squirrel hadn't moved after I opened the door, then I would have known something is really terribly wrong. But I don't want to get bit and get rabies or anything either. So well, anyway, if I did, since I don't have a shovel, I do have a pair of leather work gloves, so I could have picked them up with that and put it in a bag, and if it had died, well, at least I would have done that. I wouldn't want to let it sit out there. Either. All right, we're still moving along here. So Richard should be going live soon, I think. I'll try to be in there. Well, I mean, it's just GT Sport. I think he said he was only going to go for an hour, so I mean, I mean, I was surprised when I woke up this morning and I looked and he was live on the farm. That threw me for a loop, because I was like, oh, I thought, well, maybe I'll get up and do another stream real quick. So I don't know. Oh, Joe's still going. Oh, Joe. Oops. I may have overspent a little much. Yeah, it happens. I've done that before. You think you've got your money budgeted, and then you realize, oops, I'm gonna be a little bit short. So I'm guessing Joe should be just about wrapping up, because usually he only goes for about an hour. So I'm guessing Richard probably itching to finish up on a. Yeah, well, that's a nice thing, because in America, well, most companies, you only get paid every 2 weeks. Some people prefer to be paid once a month, because they just pay all their bills and they know what they have left over. I don't think I've ever worked for a place where you got paid weekly. Everything, as far as any place I've ever worked at, you got paid every other week. The only additional income I got was when I worked as a bellboy, or not a bellboy, as a busboy at the old Hyatt in Oakland, in the coffee shop, the summer of '87. Yeah, summer of '87. Because sometimes the waiters or waitresses would share some tips with me, but not always. Some were, oh goodness, no matter how hard I busted my butt, they were not sharing those tips at all. this away. It's just a little piece of plastic container. It's not nothing that can't be replaced or whatever. Yeah, but they were some of them were really good, but some were just like, nah. I don't think you did a good enough job for me to share tips with you, so yeah. Good thing back then I was making $5.35 an hour, which was just about double what the minimum wage was in America at that time. That was like my comic book money back then. Worked that summer, and as soon as the summer was over, as soon as the school year started, I quit that job. I was like, I can't work the job and do school full time. I don't think my parents would have allowed it either. But yeah, it was a good experience. But yeah, it was really hard work. They were renovating the kitchen, so we had to take all the dirty plates and stuff. We had to take it out the back on a cart, and it was like overfilled a lot of times, and you're trying to get the stuff back there without breaking any plates, and just, yeah, it was a pain in the butt. But it was a good job for the summer. I appreciate it. Like my dad, I taken this. It was a hotel management class on my junior year in high school, and my dad would always say, "Well, you got to find a job over the summer. You can't just be sitting around doing nothing." And then he said, "Well, nobody's going to call you for a job." And lo and behold, like a week or so later, the manager of the coffee shop calls me up and says, "Hey, do you want to work for me for the summer?" I'm like, "Sure." Well, doing what? "Well, I need you as a busboy." Okay. Yeah. So never, even when somebody says nobody will ever call you, you never know. Never say never, because sometimes it'll happen. And as soon as I got the phone, who was that? "Oh, the coffee shop manager offered me a job." "Really?" "Yeah." "Oh." That's my favorite. One of my favorite stories growing up. When your parents, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Nobody's. "Oh yeah, really? Nobody ever will, huh? Okay." Okay, well, thanks for hanging out, Ryan. Greatly appreciate it. Nice to chat with you. All the crazy topics that we've discussed today. So, well, hopefully you have a good shift tomorrow, and hopefully you stay cool, and hopefully you have some empty buses so you don't have to stress about the passengers. So, but thanks for hanging out for a while. Greatly appreciate it. Should be for our. We'll get that yellow, and then we'll have the red at there. Okay. Wow, that's interesting that it puts the stop marker past the red light. Oh, interesting. That's kind of odd. Oh, I can't even see the okay. We don't even have no other. Okay, so we are stopping at Rockwood Main No.1. Know about people being annoying, just turn off. No, it's okay, Ryan. You know, you know, it's just people are who they are, and I try to accept that. But no, it's all good. Yeah, but hopefully you have a good shift, and hopefully it won't be too bad on a Monday. So I know usually that's when most people are kind of in a sour mood, is on Mondays, but at this point in my life, it's just another day of the week. I'm okay with that. So, but thanks for tuning in, Ryan. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, we'll be ending up here as soon as we pull into Rockwood Main No.1. I'm just curious why, because that stop marker is usually always back here before the red, so that's going to be an interesting dilemma. The other train, oops. The other train has left. So we should start to see that train. Is that it says we're stopping at Rockwood, but it's turned yellow, that light. So I don't know, maybe they put it past that red now. Oh, interesting. We got a yellow there. I guess maybe I got on the brakes a little too much. And that is a mixed freight service. Wow, they're cooking pretty good too. Going fast. We should see, there should be a yellow there, and then we should see the next one. But I don't know, maybe there's something that got changed that I wasn't aware of. Huh. This is interesting. This is quite the conundrum here. As far as I've always known, we always stopped here just past or before the red. So I wonder if they relocated the stop marker or something so that you didn't have to worry about spatting. Interesting dilemma. Yeah, this has been a fun fun experience. No major hiccups with the HUD off. So we're going to keep an eye on our speed, because even without that red now, I kind of feel like there's going to be some kind of a surprise here. I don't know why, but like I said, maybe think something's changed. Huh. I don't know. We'll find out shortly, that's for sure. But yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Joe Burgess, who works for Dovetail. He worked on the timetable for Hamburg to Lübeck. He's still working on it, just making some, I guess, some changes and whatnot, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, so Joe, this stream has been for you. Yeah, so I'm gonna give him a link to the YouTube channel, and he can watch it at his discretion. Okay, so that is showing. It's green. Wait a minute. Are we coming in? I think we are. Yep. Okay, so that was green back there. It's showing yellow. Interesting. They must have changed something. Wow. I guess now you don't have to worry about, after all that time, that you might inadvertently spad. Wow, that is really awesome. That is really, wow. Oh, we just got to give this a little bit more gas here. We don't want to. That is really cool. I greatly appreciate that, Dovetail Games. That because normally we'd be worried about stopping right about now, but we're not. So, because I think the next signal after this is a red somewhere down yonder, but we're not going that far. Ooh, matter of fact, just to be on the safe side in case something happens. Not the most perfect stop, but there we go. A silver, but you know, hey, that's okay. I'll take it. That's not too bad. Probably because I sped quite a bit, but yeah, look it up there. I was speeding quite a bit, so wow. Yeah, I was, but that's okay. It was a good experience. I really enjoyed it. Hats off to you, Joe. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, early Monday morning, whatever the case may be. I will see, or well, it's Sunday evening, but I will see you all Tuesday on Peninsula Corridor.